First contact and rescue. The EDS Dauntless drifted silently through the void, its engines running at minimal power as it conducted its routine patrol of the Kuiper Belt. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded her command chair. At 42, she was one of the youngest captains in Earth's defense fleet, having earned her position through a combination of tactical brilliance and unwavering composure under pressure. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy readings at the edge of our sensor range," reported Lieutenant Commander Wei, his fingers dancing across the sensor station controls. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Rodriguez straightened, her interest peaked. "Distance. Approximately 3.2 AU beyond Pluto's current position, Mom. Plot an intercept course, Lieutenant. Let's see what we found." As the Dauntless altered course, Rodriguez felt the familiar flutter of excitement that came with the unknown. Humanity had been exploring the solar system for decades now, establishing colonies on Mars and mining operations throughout the asteroid belt. They had encountered many surprises, but never signs of intelligent extraterrestrial life. 6 hours later, the bridge crew fell silent as the main viewscreen displayed an image that would forever change human history. Floating in the darkness of space was a fleet of vessels, hundreds of them, their sleek, iridescent hulls reflecting the distant sunlight. Some were small, perhaps the size of Earth shuttles, while others were truly massive, dwarfing even the largest human spacecraft. "My God," whispered Commander Jackson, the first officer. "Are those ships?" Rodriguez finished for him. "Alien ships." Wei's console beeped urgently. "Captain, I'm detecting minimal power signatures from those vessels. They appear to be running on emergency systems only. And there are life signs. Thousands of them." Rodriguez made her decision instantly. "Open a broadcast channel on all frequencies. Standard first contact protocol." Communications Officer Patel nodded, her hands trembling slightly as she initiated the transmission. "Channel open, Captain." Rodriguez stood tall, her voice clear and steady. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Ship Dauntless. We come in peace and offer assistance if needed. Please respond." For several tense minutes, there was nothing but silence. Then, the main view screen flickered, and a figure appeared. The alien was humanoid, but clearly not human, standing nearly 7 feet tall with silvery blue skin that seemed to shimmer with its own internal light. Its eyes were large, with vertical pupils set in orbs of deep violet. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move in perfect synchronization with the words that emerged from the ship's speakers. "I am Fleet Admiral Zorax of the Solarian Exodus Armada. Your offer of assistance is unexpected." Rodriguez maintained her composure despite her racing heart. "Admiral Zorax, we detected your fleet's power systems operating at minimal capacity. Are you in distress?" The alien's expression shifted in a way that Rodriguez couldn't quite interpret. "Yes, Captain Rodriguez. We have suffered a catastrophic failure in our quantum fold drives. We are stranded." Within hours, the Dauntless had docked with the Solarian command vessel, and Rodriguez led a small delegation aboard. The alien ship's interior was a marvel of engineering. Curved corridors with walls that seemed to pulse with soft light, technology that appeared to function without visible controls or interfaces. Admiral Zorax met them in what appeared to be a conference chamber. Up close, the Solarian was even more imposing, with a regal bearing that spoke of centuries of tradition. "You take a great risk, coming aboard an unknown vessel," Zorax observed. Rodriguez smiled. "Sometimes trust must be given before it can be received. Tell me about your situation, Admiral." As Zorax explained, Rodriguez and her team listened with growing concern. The Solarians were refugees, fleeing from a hostile force known as the Hegemony, a coalition of species that had conquered the Solarians' home system. They had escaped with whatever ships could be salvaged, carrying the remnants of their civilization. But during their journey, they had encountered an unexpected subspace anomaly that had damaged their propulsion systems beyond repair. Our technology relies on quantum entanglement principles, Zorax explained. The anomaly severed the connection to our fold space anchors. Without them, we cannot travel faster than light. And these hegemony forces? Rodriguez asked. Are they pursuing you? Always, Zorax replied grimly. We have perhaps 30 of your Earth. When Rodriguez returned to the Dauntless, she immediately established a secure channel to Earth Central Command. The response was predictable, caution bordering on paranoia. Emergency meetings were convened at the highest levels of government. Some argued for non-intervention, citing the risk of drawing hostile alien attention to Earth. Others saw a moral obligation to help. Meanwhile, a team of Earth's best engineers, led by Dr. Maya Patel, communications officer Patel's older sister, was granted permission to examine the Accelerian propulsion systems. It's beyond anything we've ever developed, Dr. Patel reported during a briefing 2 days later. Their quantum technology makes our most advanced systems look like steam engines by comparison. But, Rodriguez prompted, but the principles aren't entirely incomprehensible. They're just different. They use quantum entanglement to essentially fold spacetime, creating a direct path between 2 points. Our fusion drives work on brute force by comparison. Captain Rodriguez leaned forward. Can we help them repair their systems? Dr. Patel shook her head. Not directly. We don't have the materials or the knowledge to recreate their quantum anchors. But, she paused, a spark of excitement in her eyes. We might be able to adapt our technology to their needs. It won't be as elegant as their original systems, but it could work. Explain, Rodriguez demanded. Their ships still have functional secondary propulsion systems, what we might call impulse engines. If we could provide enough power, they could achieve a significant fraction of light speed. Not as fast as their fold drives, but enough to reach a safe star system within a reasonable time frame. And how do we provide that much power? Dr. Patel grinned. That's the beautiful irony, Captain. We use our primitive fusion reactors. The Accelerians abandoned nuclear fusion centuries ago in favor of their quantum technology. They don't even have the equipment to generate power the way we do. But if we could adapt our fusion reactors to their power grid, the plan was audacious. Earth would deploy every available fusion reactor to the Accelerian fleet, creating a makeshift power network that could energize their secondary drives. It wasn't a perfect solution. The fleet would still be limited to sublight speeds, but it would give them mobility again. Admiral Zorax was skeptical when Rodriguez presented the plan. You propose to power our advanced vessels with nuclear fusion. Sometimes the old ways have advantages, Rodriguez replied. Your quantum technology is elegant and efficient, but our fusion reactors are robust and adaptable. They might be exactly what you need in this crisis. After consulting with his engineers, Zorax reluctantly agreed. Earth mobilized its resources with remarkable speed. Within a week, a small flotilla of Earth vessels arrived, carrying dozens of fusion reactors and teams of engineers. Never been designed to work together, and there were numerous setbacks. But the engineers from both species worked tirelessly, developing new interfaces and protocols. As the work progressed, a grudging respect developed between the human and Accelerian technical teams. Your species has an unusual approach to problem solving. A Accelerian engineer named Trelax commented to Dr. Patel as they worked on power coupling designs. You embrace inefficiency and redundancy in ways that seem counterintuitive. We call it belt and suspenders, Dr. Patel replied with a smile. If one system fails, have a backup. If that fails, have another backup. It's not elegant, but it keeps us alive. 3 weeks into the operation, with the integration nearly complete, Admiral Zorax requested a private meeting with Captain Rodriguez and Earth's diplomatic representative, Ambassador Chen. There is something I must tell you, the Admiral said, his voice heavy. Something I should have revealed from the beginning, but caution prevented me. He activated a holographic display, showing a star map of the galaxy. The force pursuing us, the hegemony, They are not simply conquerors. They are exterminators. Rodriguez felt a chill run down her spine. Explain. The hegemony believes that species that have not achieved certain technological thresholds are unworthy of existence in the galactic community. They see themselves as gardeners, pruning what they consider undesirable growths. And Earth? Ambassador Chen asked quietly. Your world would be deemed primitive by their standards, Zorax confirmed. If they discover your existence, they will mark you for extermination. A heavy silence fell over the room. Why tell us this now? Rodriguez finally asked. Zorax's violet eyes met hers directly. Because you have shown me that technological advancement is not the only measure of a species' worth. Your ingenuity, your determination, your willingness to help strangers. These qualities are rare and precious. I could not in good conscience allow you to face what is coming without warning. Ambassador Chen's expression was grim. So by helping you, we've potentially signed our own death warrant. No, Zorax replied firmly. By helping us, you have gained allies who understand the hegemony's tactics and technology. If you choose to continue aiding us, we will stand with you against whatever comes. Rodriguez looked at Chen, then back to the alien admiral. Earth doesn't abandon those in need, Admiral. We'll see this through, together. As if to punctuate her words, an alarm blared through the ship. Zorax moved quickly to a console, his expression darkening. It seems our time has run out, he said grimly. Hegemony scout vessels have been detected entering the system. The hunters have found us. Galactic implications. The atmosphere in the makeshift Joint Command Center aboard the Solarian flagship was tense. Tactical displays showed 3 hegemony scout vessels approaching from the outer system, moving with the confidence of predators who had cornered their prey. Time until they're in weapons range. Captain Rodriguez asked, studying the projections. Approximately 4 hours, replied the Solarian tactical officer. Their main battle fleet will arrive within 12. Admiral Zorax turned to Dr. Patel. What is our status with the power integration? The engineer wiped sweat from her brow. We've successfully integrated reactors on 60% of your vessels. The command ship is at full power, but many of the civilian transports are still offline. We need more time, Rodriguez stated, her mind racing through scenarios. Ambassador Chen, please inform Earth Central that we have a hostile force incoming. Request additional military support, though I doubt it will arrive in time. Chen nodded grimly and moved to the communications station. Rodriguez turned back to Zorax. Admiral, I suggest we deploy the Dauntless and your operational vessels as a screen. We can buy the engineering teams more time to complete the power integration. Against hegemony weapons, Zorax looked skeptical. Your vessel would not survive the first volley. Rodriguez smiled thinly. We don't need to win a battle. We just need to slow them down. The plan took shape quickly. The Dauntless, along with 3 powered Solarian cruisers, would move to intercept the hegemony scouts. They would attempt negotiation first, though no one held much hope for that approach, while the remaining engineering teams worked frantically to bring the rest of the fleet online. As the intercept force departed, Dr. Patel had a sudden realization. We've been approaching this wrong, she said to Trelax, the Solarian engineer. We're trying to power each ship individually, but what if we created a power network instead? Trelax's eyes widened. A distributed power grid, across multiple vessels. Exactly. We route excess power from the ships with operational reactors to those still waiting. It won't be enough for combat operations, but it might give them enough juice for basic maneuvering. That could work, Trelax admitted, but the power loss over the connections would be substantial. Dr. Paddle grinned. That's why we're going to use your quantum conduits. They're designed for near-lossless energy transfer, right? The 2 engineers set to work immediately, recruiting every available technician to help implement their plan. Meanwhile, the Dauntless and its Solarian escorts approached the incoming hegemony vessels. The alien ships were sleek and predatory, their black hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light, making them seem like moving voids in space. "Hail them," Rodriguez ordered from the Dauntless bridge. After a moment, a figure appeared on the main view screen. The Hegemony commander was reptilian in appearance, with scaled skin in mottled greens and browns. Its eyes were yellow slits that regarded Rodriguez with cold contempt. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Ship Dauntless. You are approaching refugees under our protection. State your intentions." The Hegemony commander tilted its head slightly. "Earth, an unknown designation. I am Executor Sarth of the Hegemony Purification Fleet. The Xilarian fugitives are condemned for harboring genetic impurities. Stand aside or be destroyed with them." Rodriguez kept her expression neutral. "The Xilarians are under Earth's protection. We request that you withdraw from this system immediately." A sound emerged from the Hegemony commander that might have been laughter. "Your primitive vessel poses no threat to us. You have 1 standard hour to disengage and depart. Any vessels remaining with the Xilarian fleet after that time will be considered contaminated and eliminated." The transmission cut off abruptly. "Well, that went about as expected," Commander Jackson commented dryly. Rodriguez nodded. "Tactical. Analyze everything you can about their ships. Look for weaknesses, unusual energy signatures, anything we can use, and open a secure channel to Admiral Zorax." When the Admiral's face appeared on screen, Rodriguez didn't waste time. "They've given us 1 hour before they attack. What can you tell me about their weapon systems?" "Their primary weapons are particle beams, far more powerful than anything your ship could withstand. Their hulls are reinforced with quantum-locked materials that can absorb tremendous energy. A direct confrontation would be suicidal." Rodriguez's expression remained determined. "Then we don't confront them directly. We just need to buy time. Are there any weaknesses we can exploit? Any tactical advantage?" Zorax was silent for a moment. "Their sensors have a blind spot directly aft, a result of their propulsion system design. It's small, but it might allow a single ship to approach undetected, if the pilot were skilled enough." Rodriguez smiled. "I know just the pilot. Keep working on getting your fleet powered up. We'll handle the Hegemony." Back on the Xilarian command ship, Dr. Patel and Trelax had assembled a team of engineers who were implementing their power-sharing network. Using the Xilarians' quantum conduits, they had created a web of energy transfer between vessels, routing power from the ships with functional reactors to those still waiting. "Power flow stable at 78% efficiency," reported a human technician. Dr. Patel nodded in satisfaction. "Better than I expected. Start bringing the civilian transports online, 1 group at a time. Prioritize life support and basic maneuvering thrusters." As the deadline approached, Rodriguez finalized her plan. The Dauntless would approach the Hegemony vessels openly, appearing to surrender, while 2 small shuttles, piloted by Commander Jackson and Lieutenant Wei, would exploit the enemy's sensor blind spot to plant high-yield fusion charges on their hulls. "This is a volunteer mission," Rodriguez told her officers. "The risk is extreme." "With respect, Captain," Jackson replied. "We all volunteered when we signed up for the Defense Fleet." We nodded in agreement. "Besides, how often do you get to save an alien civilization?" The hour elapsed, and the Hegemony vessels began to move forward, weapons systems powering up. The Dauntless approached with shields lowered, appearing compliant. "Hegemony vessels, this is Captain Rodriguez. We wish to discuss terms for our withdrawal." As expected, this drew the attention of all 3 enemy ships. Meanwhile, the 2 shuttles detached from the Dauntless's rear docking bay, their systems running at minimal power to avoid detection as they arced toward the enemy's blind spots. The mission was a masterpiece of precision piloting. Jackson and Wei maneuvered their shuttles to within meters of the Hegemony vessels, attached their charges, and began to withdraw. They had almost made it to safety when one of the shuttles was detected. Evasive maneuvers. Jackson shouted as enemy weapons locked onto his shuttle. Rodriguez watched the tactical display with growing horror as Jackson's shuttle was hit. "Detonate the charges now," she ordered. The fusion charges exploded simultaneously, engulfing the hegemony vessels in blinding light. When the radiation cleared, 2 of the enemy ships were drifting, severely damaged. The third remained operational but damaged. "Wei's shuttle is returning," reported the tactical officer. "Jackson's." He hesitated. "No life signs detected." Rodriguez allowed herself only a moment of grief before focusing on the mission. "Target the remaining operational hegemony vessel. All weapons." The Dauntless and the Accelerian escorts opened fire, overwhelming the already damaged enemy ship. After a brief but intense exchange, the final hegemony scout was reduced to a drifting hulk. "Captain," the communications officer called out, "I'm receiving a transmission from the Accelerian command ship. Dr. Patel reports that the power integration is complete. All vessels have sufficient energy for maneuvering." Rodriguez felt a surge of pride. "Tell them to prepare for immediate departure. The main hegemony fleet will be here soon." The next few hours were organized chaos as the massive Accelerian fleet began to move, their formation sluggish but steadily gaining speed. Earth vessels coordinated the movement, ensuring no ship was left behind. Just as the fleet reached the edge of the solar system, long-range sensors detected the arrival of the hegemony main force, dozens of warships, far more powerful than the scouts. "They're pursuing," reported the tactical officer, his voice tight. Rodriguez exchanged glances with Zorax, who had joined her on the Dauntless Bridge. "We can't outrun them." "No," the Admiral agreed, "but perhaps we don't need to." He gestured to a star chart. "There is a stellar phenomenon in this region, what you might call a pulsar. Its radiation emissions would mask our energy signatures and disrupt their targeting systems. But wouldn't that affect our ships as well?" Zorax nodded. "Yes, but our hulls were designed to withstand such radiation. I believe your vessels are similarly shielded." Rodriguez confirmed this was true for the Dauntless and most of Earth's military vessels, though some of the civilian ships that had brought the reactors would be vulnerable. The fleet altered course, making for the pulsar. As they approached, the radiation levels began to rise, but as Zorax had predicted, the Accelerian ships and Earth military vessels weathered it well. The civilian ships took shelter in the shadow of larger vessels, protected from the worst of the emissions. The hegemony pursued them into the radiation field, but their targeting systems began to fail. Precision weapons became useless in the electromagnetic chaos of the pulsar's influence. After several futile attempts to engage, they withdrew to a safe distance, maintaining a watchful position. "They're waiting for us to leave the radiation field," Zorax observed. "Then we won't," Rodriguez replied. "At least not all at once." She outlined a plan to dispatch ships in small groups, using the pulsar's radiation bursts for cover. Over the next several days, the combined fleet executed this strategy, gradually evacuating the radiation field without presenting a concentrated target for the hegemony. By the time the last group prepared to depart, the hegemony forces had been drawn thin, spread out to chase multiple targets. The final group, including the Dauntless and the Accelerian command ship, made a run for deep space. The few hegemony vessels that intercepted them were outmaneuvered, and in some cases, outfought by the now coordinated human and Accelerian forces. 3 weeks later, the fleet arrived at their destination, a star system at the edge of what Zorax called neutral space, beyond the hegemony's immediate reach. As the ships established orbit around a habitable planet, Admiral Zorax requested a meeting with all the human commanders. "What you have accomplished defies explanation," the Admiral said, addressing the assembled humans. "By all logic, our fleet should have been destroyed. Instead, you not only saved us, but did so using technology we had dismissed as primitive centuries ago." Ambassador Chen smiled. "Humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention." "Indeed," Zorax replied. "And now I must ask you to undertake one more journey." The Galactic Council must be informed of what has transpired here. They have ignored the hegemony's actions for too long, dismissing them as internal matters. But your involvement changes everything. 3 days later, the Dauntless, accompanied by the Xelarian command ship, arrived at the coordinates Zorax had provided. Before them floated a massive space station, its design unlike anything humans had ever created. A delicate-looking structure of interconnected spheres and rings that somehow projected an aura of ancient authority. As the ships docked, Captain Rodriguez and Ambassador Chen led a small delegation to meet with the Council. The chamber they entered was vast, with representatives from dozens of species seated in tiered arrangements. Admiral Zorax stood before them, completing his testimony as the humans arrived. And so I present to you the representatives of Earth, a world unknown to the Council until now. A world whose people, despite their relative technological youth, chose to stand against the hegemony when many of you would not. Rodriguez felt the weight of alien gazes upon her as she stepped forward. A being with crystalline features spoke, its voice translated through a device on Rodriguez's collar. Captain Rodriguez of Earth, the Council has heard Admiral Zorax's account. We find it difficult to believe. You claim your species adapted fusion technology the Xelarians abandoned millennia ago, to save their fleet. Rodriguez nodded. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones, especially when facing unexpected problems. And you confronted hegemony forces directly, despite knowing you were outmatched. We did what was necessary to protect those who needed help, Rodriguez replied simply. That's what humans do. A murmur ran through the assembled representatives, the crystalline being leaned forward slightly. The hegemony has operated unchecked for too long, claiming their actions were justified by their technological superiority. Your achievements challenged the very foundation of their philosophy. More importantly, your willingness to risk yourselves for others demonstrates a quality that has become rare in our galaxy. Ambassador Chen stepped forward. Earth seeks neither reward nor recognition for its actions. We only ask that the Council take action to protect the Xelarians and any other species threatened by the hegemony. The crystalline being's facets caught the light as it turned to address the full Council. I propose that Earth be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council with immediate effect. Furthermore, I propose that a coalition be formed to investigate and address the hegemony's violations of Council principles. The motion passed with overwhelming support. As the session concluded, Admiral Zorax approached Rodriguez and Chen. Your world has changed the course of galactic history, he said quietly. The Council has existed for thousands of years, yet in a single act, you have reminded them of principles they had forgotten. Rodriguez smiled. We just did what seemed right at the time. And that, Zorax replied, is precisely why the galaxy needs humanity. As the Dauntless prepared for its return journey to Earth, carrying news that would forever change human civilization, Rodriguez stood at the viewport in her quarters, gazing at the magnificent Council station. First contact had not gone as anyone on Earth might have imagined. No formal diplomatic exchanges, no cautious cultural sharing. Instead, humanity had been thrust onto the galactic stage through an act of compassion and courage. Whatever came next, and Rodriguez suspected it would be both wonderful and terrifying. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the stars, not through technological dominance or military might, but through the simple, powerful choice to help others in need. And in a galaxy that had grown cold with calculation and self-interest, perhaps that was exactly the quality that was needed most. The Dauntless's engines hummed to life, setting course for Earth and the new future that awaited humanity among the stars.